What's up, Psychonauts? So today I wanted to talk about tripping alone and tripping with other people. I wanted to compare them, share some of the pros and cons, and my favorite things about each. To start off, I'll talk about tripping alone. And this is not really the recommended way to take psychedelics for beginners, but for most experienced psychonauts, tripping alone can have a lot of benefits. Um, the best thing about tripping alone is probably the obvious, and that's that you can basically do whatever you want. Tripping alone really allows you to follow your instincts and follow your own inclinations. A lot of times I call it, and I got this, I think it's from Timothy Leary, you can trust your nervous system. When you're with other people, there's just so many more behavioral expectations placed on you. So yeah, there's a lot of things you can do alone that you can't really do with other people or with groups of people. And I really like just being able to freely follow my instincts during a trip. You know, if I want to go into another room, do that. If I want to go, take a shower, I'll go do that without worrying about what anybody else is doing. That's kind of another point, is that you don't have to worry about other people's experiences and other people's trips. This definitely depends on who you're tripping with, but adding in extra people just adds in these layers to the experience where you kind of are just aware of other people and them having their own experiences. And like I said, there's those social pressures to behave a certain way. That's all eliminated when you're alone, and you can really just be yourself. Another thing I was gonna say is that you can be a complete weirdo when you're alone. One thing that I include in being a complete weirdo is I like to talk during my experiences. Like, I like to talk out loud, and it's kind of like I'm talking to myself or I'm talking to the experience. Really, I call it like I'm playing with my mind, and I do this verbally, and it's something that I cannot do if there's other people there because it's just really weird. But if you've never tried it, I definitely recommend just like talking yourself through the experience and sort of putting your thoughts out loud and seeing what happens. I find it's a really interesting way to explore my mind, and I feel like I can go deeper sometimes when I'm verbalizing my experience and my thoughts. So the last thing that I wanted to say about tripping alone, and this really probably is actually the best thing. I think I said the first thing was the best thing, but I think this is actually the best thing. And I think you can go much deeper into the experience when you're alone than when you're with other people. People are distracting. And if the goal of your experience is transcendence, or you have like very spiritual intentions, I often find that having the experience alone can be much more beneficial. I just think it allows you to go deeper into the experience. You're not worrying about what other people are doing. And just other people have this effect of just kind of bringing you back to reality in a way. Not to say that you can't have some reality bending experiences with other people, because I sure have, but there is this grounding effect of being around other people. And when there's nobody else there, when you're completely alone, things can get just that much more intense, and you can really get that much deeper into the experience, even if your intentions are just pure exploration. In fact, this might be the best way to really explore consciousness, just being alone, following all your instincts, playing around with the experience, and behaving as strangely and as weirdly as you want. That is really what sums up the tripping alone experience and why it's so amazing. Now, there are some drawbacks to tripping alone. Obviously, if you're having like a rough experience, it could sometimes be nice if someone was there to comfort you or guide you through the experience. I've never really had an assigned trip sitter, but I do like, if I'm gonna trip alone, at least having somebody that I'll be able to have on standby that I can always reach out to, and that, preferably even have someone that will come to see you later in the experience. So let's move on to tripping with other people. There are a lot more variables when it comes to tripping with other people. You could be tripping with one other person, or you could be tripping with a group of people. Most of my experiences with other people have been with like 1 or 2 other people, but I do have some experiences with larger groups than that. There's really a lot of things that are fun about tripping with other people. One just like really simple thing that first comes to mind is the come down conversations. I think this may be one of my favorite things about tripping with other people, just after the initial experience has kind of worn off a little bit and you're all coming down, just those conversations about life and existence and the universe and the entire cosmos and whatever other topic you may think about. The mind is really going after a trip, and it's really nice to share those thoughts with other people. But also, speaking of communicating, instead of during the come down, during the peak of the experience, I find it's really fun to experiment with telepathy. And this is something you can't do alone. You need at least one other person there to have a telepathic experience. This has happened to me multiple times where I've been with other people and just like the boundaries between our minds dissolve, and somehow we're all communicating without speaking out loud. We're all communicating within like the same mind, it feels like. So that can be really interesting. There's also sometimes a phenomenon of shared hallucinations, and I've experienced this at least once, where I was with a group of people and we all saw the same thing. Particularly what happened is we all saw this sort of hexagonal structure in the sky. There's a lot of explanations for that, but shared hallucinations is definitely something that people experience, and that's something you can explore when you're with a group of people. Another thing is adventures. I think having other people around definitely inspires the adventurous spirit. You know, things like going on walks, exploring nature, just like getting out and going on an adventure of sorts is really fun when you're with other people. Another thing about tripping with other people is just they can be really intimate bonding experiences. Psychedelic experiences are really powerful, so having a really powerful experience with other people is just such a bonding experience. And I always recommend tripping with people that you love, tripping with people that you're close to. It's always so much better than tripping with people that you're not very close to. Most of the benefits of tripping with other people come from tripping with people that you have a connection with. I have tripped with people that I'm less close to, and sometimes it can just be more of a drawback than a benefit. They can be distracting, and there's just, like I said, there's so many variables when there's other people. So much more can go wrong in a trip. So you really have to be aware of set and setting, and people are definitely a part of setting. So be careful who you trip around, trip with the people you love, and that about sums it up. I maybe had some more things that I forgot about, but I just wanted to do this little video. I thought it would be fun, and let me know what you guys like better. Do you like tripping alone? Do you like tripping with other people? Do you agree with what I said about what the best things about each of them are? Let me know, and you'll see me in the next one. That is all. Okay.